Un a mission of peace, saying it won't take him long to figure out if the North Korean leader is sincere in his promises.
Maybe in the first minute.
But it's the art of no deal in Canada, what the president is saying about their prime minister, Justin Trudeau.
A legendary chef remembered. Fans gathering outside the restaurant that launched Anthony Bourdain's career, as we're learning more now about his final hours and what raised red flags at the hotel where his body was found.
Caught on camera, dramatic pool rescue. A teen jumps into action to save another boy.
There were 6 people, and I looked around, and there's 5.
Pulling him to safety, where another hero performs CPR.
Without Cody and Des, I wouldn't be alive.
The lucky survivor speaking exclusively to ABC this morning.
Severe weather this morning. Reported tornadoes tearing through the Midwest, strong storms ripping off roofs and flooding streets as wildfires threaten homes in the West.
And Triple Crown winner.
He's just perfect, and now he's just immortal!
Justify proving himself at Belmont to take his place in history, becoming only the 13th horse to sweep all 3 races. What his trainer and jockey are saying about the runaway win.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Let's do this, as Adrian just said. Good Sunday morning, everyone. And we do begin here with the truly historic breaking news. President Trump will be arriving shortly in Singapore for a momentous and risky face-to-face meeting with the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. That meeting happening about 36 hours from now.
Take a look at these images out of Singapore. This morning, Kim Jong-un has already arrived. His motorcade seen rolling through the city before boarding his flight for Singapore. President Trump declared that he is on, quote, a mission of peace.
Trump admitted that this is unknown territory, but insists that he feels confident, warning that Kim Jong-un has an opportunity he won't have again, saying this is a one-time shot.
This whole deal is a major test of the president's improvisational, foreign policy style. In fact, the man who wrote The Art of the Deal, for him, these may be the most consequential negotiations of his entire career.
We do have team coverage this morning. George Stephanopoulos and Martha Raddatz are right there on the ground in Singapore, and we're going to begin with George. And George, could you just set the scene for us? What are the stakes heading into tomorrow's face-to-face? And good morning to both of you, by the way.
Good morning, Paul. Boy, they could not be higher. You know, we use this phrase, making history, an awful lot. In this case, it is absolutely true. We have never seen an American president sit down, a sitting American president, sit down with a North Korean leader, and the stakes are high because the stakes are nuclear war. If this works out, if this meeting works out well, you could have a situation where North Korea starts to talk about restricting its nuclear weapons and starts to enter the modern world. But if it does not work out, there may be few options left short of military action. That is why the stakes are so high. And it's coming off, you know, you talk about unpredictable, coming off that meeting with the G7, Martha, where the president, even as he's reaching out to our enemies, is having a huge break with our allies. Thank goodness the allies are united on this issue of North Korea.
They are definitely all united on the issue of North Korea. And despite that G7 meeting, or what President Trump wants to call a G8 meeting, he is focused on this North Korean summit, and he says he feels ready.
We're going in with a very positive spirit, I think very well prepared.
President Trump confident leading up to his face-to-face meeting with Kim Jong-un.
This is a great opportunity for peace and lasting peace and prosperity.
Feeling positive, tweeting, "I look forward to meeting him and have a feeling that this one-time opportunity will not be wasted." But still, the president preparing for anything to happen.
I've said it many times. Who knows? Who knows? May not work out.
Trump saying his instincts will tell him if the North Korean dictator is serious about making a deal.
How long will it take to figure out whether or not they're serious? I said maybe in the first minute. If I think it won't happen, I'm not going to waste my time. I don't want to waste his time.
While the president said he's mastered the art of the deal, he is lowering expectations just in case.
You'd start at least a dialogue because, you know, as a deal person, I've done very well with deals. What you want to do is start that. Now, I'd like to accomplish more than that. But at a minimum, I do believe at least we'll have met each other. We will have seen each other. Hopefully, we will have liked each other.
Pushing back at criticism that this meeting will give Kim the legitimacy that he desires.
Everyone said, you know, the haters, they say, oh, you're giving him a meeting. Give me a break, okay?
But warning that this meeting is a one-time shot.
I feel that Kim Jong-un wants to do something great for his people, and he has that opportunity. And he won't have that opportunity again. It's never going to be there again.
President Trump working on a potential deal with North Korea, he is reversing his decision on another, deciding not to endorse a G7 communique.
Tariffs are going to come way down because people cannot continue to do that. We're like the piggy bank that everybody's robbing, and that ends.
Criticizing Canadian Prime Minister and U.S. ally Justin Trudeau, calling him very dishonest and weak.
And I don't know if I ever remember a U.S. president calling an ally names, George.
We have not seen anything like it before, guys.
Before we let you go, we want to get you to weigh in on a few things. We'd love to hear from both of you on this. Let me start with you, George, and then we can hear from Martha if possible. Let's talk about what's in this for Donald Trump. As we saw in Martha's piece, he's lowered expectations for this initial meeting along the way, saying this could ultimately be a long process. But he has maintained throughout, and so have members of his administration, that denuclearization is the only end game here. Most people, however, say that there's no way Kim's going to give up all of his nuclear weapons. So how far can this whole thing get?
Well, that is the big question. And one thing that we have to watch for just at the beginning is, does he actually make a commitment to get rid of the weapons, even if it's a process that could take years and years and years? Is he even willing to let the world know what exactly he has? And is he willing to do some more restrictions on testing? Those could be some interim steps that could lead to progress, even if we don't have this immediate denuclearization.
And of course, President Trump has talked about this being a process, that there may be more meetings after this initial meeting. And boy, that bar is so low for this initial meeting. They'll meet, they'll see each other, and maybe they'll like each other, is what President Trump said. But we have to remember, as George said, this is all about denuclearization. Whether it starts after this meeting, that would be the really important step.
Yeah, and Mike Pompeo has said that Trump won't stand for a bad deal. Okay, another question for both of you, and Martha, we'll begin with you. Kim Jong-un, so he rarely leaves his bubble. So what is in it for him? Why would he basically give up anything when he's already getting the big prize, which is legitimacy on the world stage, before he even walks in the door?
Well, he really wants more than that. He may be getting legitimacy on the world stage, but what he really wants is security. And that's what securing a nuclear weapon was all about, securing his nation. If he doesn't have nuclear weapons, he has to get it in some other way, and that's what he will be asking President Trump to do.
And he wants economic growth, but he also doesn't want to be the victim of a military strike. I think, one thing you have to give President Trump credit for is all that bluster we saw at the beginning of his term may have been one factor that drove Kim Jong-un to this negotiating table as well. So both sides have a lot of incentives coming into this meeting just 36 hours away.
Fire and fury may have landed all of us in Singapore. George and Martha, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And we want to remind everybody that George and Martha will have much more on this historic summit coming up later this morning on a special edition of This Week with George Stephanopoulos right here on ABC.
Thanks to both of them again. And now we're going to turn to new details on the stunning death of celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain. As
police confirm that the legendary TV host took his own life, those who saw him in his final days are now coming forward to share their stories. And Adrian is covering the story for us this morning. Adrian, what are you learning?
You know what? Bourdain, whose life and career revolved around food, caused some concern with staff and his close friend when he skipped not one but 2 meals. The grieving and disbelief over his death continues both here and overseas.
Anthony Bourdain's final moments raising the alarm for those around him. The New York Times reports Bourdain skipped dinner and did not show up for breakfast the next morning, ultimately leading to the discovery of his body in a French hotel room.
Fellow travelers, this is what you want. This is the path to true happiness and wisdom.
In New York, crowds gathered outside the former location of Bourdain's acclaimed restaurant that started it all.
It's so upsetting when you feel like someone is such a light to the world and they feel the need to leave.
At the French restaurant where Bourdain was seen in his final days, staff say he appeared happy.
So everything was fine. Everything was working great.
One of the most recognized TV personalities in the world, he was host of shows No Reservations and Parts Unknown.
Eating bugs? That is so Last Network.
In 2006, while shooting episodes in Lebanon, he unknowingly entered a war zone, later thanking U.S. Marines who got his crew out safely.
Tuna noodle casserole. You know, it's a joke dish. Now, a welcome sign that we were going home.
For the man who lived his life out loud, there were red flags. He shared a conversation with a therapist in 2016 on Parts Unknown.
Suddenly, I'm super depressed for days. It's like that with the good stuff, too. I have a couple of happy minutes there where I'm thinking, life is pretty good.
And just this week, CNN aired a 2014 broadcast showing Bourdain doing what he did best, savoring a good meal and the good life, adding a sentiment that now stings.
I will never eat like this again in my life. Chef, merci. The meal of my life.
Again, if you've been having suicidal thoughts, call the National Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255. And Bourdain's life certainly an indication, that if you are struggling with something, you can feel alone even in the midst of a lot of people. Certainly call for help.
Yeah, it's a really important thing you point out there, Adrian. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Adrian, thank you. And we are expecting the president to land in Singapore at any moment. We do want to tell you we'll bring you that the moment that it happens. But let's think things over to Ron Claiborne for a look at the other news headlines we're covering on this Sunday. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning to you, Paula and Dan, Adrian, Robert. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin here in New York City, where a federal judge has blocked the deportation of an Ecuadorian-born delivery man who was taken into custody by immigration officers while trying to deliver a pizza to a military base in Brooklyn. Pablo Vicencio is a father of two and married to an American citizen, but authorities say a background check revealed that he was an undocumented immigrant. He was detained June 1st. He will remain in custody until at least July 20th when he has a hearing. And the Pentagon has identified the American Army Special Operations soldier who was killed in combat in Somalia. He's 26-year-old Staff Sergeant Alexander Conrad from Chandler, Arizona. The American forces were on patrol with Somali troops on Friday when they came under attack by the Islamic extremist group Al-Shabaab. 4 other U.S. service members were wounded in that attack. And breaking news overnight from Los Angeles, where shots were fired at a house in North Hollywood during a party there. The fire department reporting that 7 people were injured, 5 with gunshot wounds. None, though, are in critical condition. Police say they have no information right now on a suspect. And the CDC is telling people in 5 states to throw away any pre-cut melon that they bought as a precaution against salmonella poisoning. The agency says at least 60 people have been sickened by tainted melons in Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Ohio. The contaminated fruit was sold at numerous stores, including Kroger and Walmart. It has now been recalled. In Guatemala, new evacuations as the volcano of fire released a new flow of burning sediment on Saturday. That's a week after its initial eruption. At least 110 people have died and 200 others still missing. Experts warn that the danger is not over. And finally, Washington Capitals hockey team fought hard to win their Stanley Cup. Now they're not letting it go very easily. The team with the cup in tow going out for a celebratory dinner in D.C. This was Saturday night. Our Kenneth Moten happened to be at the same restaurant. Nice. Took this video. Thank you, Kenneth, for that. Look who else was there. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. They took some pictures with some of the players.
I love that. Alex Ovechkin.
To the Washington Capitals.
Alex Ovechkin. I just love the history of the Stanley Cup, too, that it's one trophy and it gets passed around and every player gets a couple of days with it. They're clearly...
She kissed it once.
Yeah. You know very well how it's passed around. Yes.
It's sanitized.
Right. It's sanitized.
Always
she
clean.
insists.
I do insist that it's
As Paula said just a moment ago, we are standing by for some breaking news, which is the arrival of President Donald J. Trump in Singapore. This is these are some live pictures of reporters on the tarmac and dignitaries on the tarmac awaiting Air Force One, which will be touching down.
And the president has called this a mission of peace. And really, he was trying to temper expectations, saying that this could be a series of meetings. It could be a slow process, but also saying that this is really a one-time shot for Kim Jong-un. It's an opportunity for him to do something for the people of North Korea, and saying that this opportunity is not going to happen again.
It's incredible when you think about the stakes here. This is a president who has made his name in the foreign policy space by flying by the seat of his pants, and this is the biggest gamble yet. And as we said at the top of the show, maybe his most important negotiation ever. While we await the arrival of the president, let's check the forecast. And for that, it's Rob Marciano, as always.
Hey, guys, I want to start in the middle of the country, where yesterday we showed you some severe weather. Here's the result of that. Unfortunately, some damage across northern parts of Iowa. Floyd County and Floyd, the town itself, recording winds of 80 miles an hour. Also had heavy rain in Mason City, about 3.5 inches of it in less than an hour. And that is the result. And there's more rounds of rain coming through Iowa, and the latest going through Chicago, heading now through Indianapolis, and we'll be heading up the Ohio River Valley as we go through time, and through Pennsylvania and Jersey. Some of this trying to get into the New York area. We've got blue on the map. Flash flood watches are posted this afternoon through tonight for an area, obviously, that's already saturated. This is Maryland seeing its wettest month on May on record, and more rain coming here in the next 36 hours. Here you see it driving down into South Carolina. So basically from Indianapolis all the way back in through Alexandria, D.C., could see 2 to 3 inches of rainfall here, so that is a significant amount for sure. We'll talk about the tropics later on in the program, and we'll also talk about the fires that are burning now across parts of the West. For now, though, let's have a look at your local forecast.
A flash flood watch going into effect today at 2 o'clock through early Monday morning. Showers and thunderstorms returning this afternoon, so make sure you download our Stormwatch 7 app so you can track the shower and storm chances coming today. It's an unsettled early half of the week for your Monday morning commute. We should catch a break on Tuesday for that Capitals parade coming to town, temperature of 77. As we head into the later half of the week, Thursday looks like the best chance to get out and mow the lawn with those highs in the upper 80s.
And it was a spectacular day at Belmont yesterday, a dry track for the first time, maybe a fast track, I suppose, in the third leg of the Triple Crown. Congrats to Justify.
Yeah, Justify, such a beautiful
jockey.
horse.
Big, gorgeous horse.
And the jockey, and the trainer.
52 years old.
Yeah, not the horse, the jockey.
The jockey.
The jockey.
That would be a story.
Crazy World is celebrating this morning, as Rob just teed it up for us. History was made in dramatic fashion at the Belmont Stakes.
Justify, the aforementioned Justify, powering to victory and winning the Triple Crown. He's only the 13th horse ever to do so. ABC's Zachary Quiche right there at Belmont Park with all the excitement. Zachary, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan and Paula. Hey, Justify, what can I say? What a name and what a story. Just an incredible finish here yesterday at Belmont. You can see some trainers just behind me here today, and a few signs that there was a good party here yesterday, but for the most part, it is all ours. This horse went down the stretch to win the Triple Crown, and in the process, earned that legendary status.
He's just perfect, and now he's just immortal!
History has just been made. Justify, running into the record books, becoming only the second Triple Crown winner with an undefeated record. From the moment he charged through the gates,
They're off in the 150th Belmont Stakes.
no one could catch his lead.
And Justify comes roaring home.
The thoroughbred becoming just the 13th horse to sweep all 3 races. From that breakout performance at the Kentucky Derby,
Justify has won the Kentucky Derby.
then conquering the competition at the Preakness.
Justify, he's unstoppable.
Now in front of a crowd of 90,000, Justify clinching the Triple Crown. Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert knows a thing or two about winning. In 2015, he ushered American Pharoah into the winner's circle, the last horse to win the Triple Crown. Now with Justify, he's a 2-time champ.
It's just to train a horse like that. He's just a magnificent animal, and I'm just glad that I got a chance to train a horse like that.
And 52-year-old Mike Smith becoming the oldest jockey to win the Triple Crown.
He made my dream come true.
It's all about timing. Just ask that Hall of Fame jockey Smith, becoming the oldest in his profession to accomplish that feat, and Justify, knocking out 35 horses on his way to Triple Crown glory. Dan and Paula, back to you.
We didn't have to wait long for another winner. It was just happened a couple of years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
And our resident horse racing expert,
I was
our
not
resident
there.
equine.
I was not there
He was at-
yesterday.
he
I
was
should
at
have
the
been there.
he was at the
I didn't
OTB.
think Justify was going to win.
He did.